A defense contractor with top secret clearance witnesses a massive triangle-shaped craft over Langley Air Force Base. After reporting it through official channels, his clearance enters bureaucratic purgery, trapping him into a job he can't leave. His finances collapse, and then police tell him that someone cut his brake lines, trying to make his death look like an accident. We're talking about Dylan Borland, a military veteran who testified to Congress, AARO, and the Intelligence Community Inspector General about UAP and alleged reverse engineering programs. This is part 2 of our coverage from the Weaponized podcast, where Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp interviewed Borland about what he knows and what the system did to silence him. As always, I'm here to report the information without bias, and you can decide what to believe. You can find the sources in my detailed articles at ufonews.co, along with in the description box below. Hey, ufologers, I'm Cristina Gomez, and welcome to this episode of UFO News Updates.
You know, the ones that I know still continue in the government, I think they continue in their classified operations programs.
They're not coming forward.
They would never come forward in a million years unless they were going to die. And it really sucks for me coming forward, because I only came forward because I sincerely believe they were going to die.
Dylan Borland worked as a defense contractor with the BAE system on multi-agency special access programs. His top secret clearance gave him exposure to highly compartmented information across multiple classified initiatives. But after his Langley Air Force Base sighting, everything changed. His clearance was not officially revoked. Instead, it entered what he describes as bureaucratic purgery. It was not properly housed in the federal systems, preventing him from taking any other positions. And multiple companies tried to hire him with better offers, but each time, they could not process his clearance. BAE Systems was notified by other contractors that they were not handling his clearance correctly, yet nothing changed. For 3.5 years, Borland worked 12 to 16-hour shifts for $62,000 annually in expensive North Virginia, unable to leave despite his qualifications. He should have been making around $100,000 or more with his credentials and hours worked. This is a tactic other whistleblowers have described, keeping someone trapped in a position through administrative manipulation rather than official action. In May of 2018, Borland went directly to a government supervisor and demanded his clearance be fixed. Within hours, it appeared in the system.
He looks me up and he says, "Oh, wow, you haven't had a clearance since 2014. I give him other names of people who were in similar situations. And he gets on a phone call and he makes a call and he says, "Fix this now." I walk out of the building and magically my clearance pops up in JPass and Scatter Castles that morning. I get a phone call from BAE Systems Security and they're not happy with what I did.
Borland gave his 2-week notice and he was hired by another contractor. But as soon as he signed out processing paperwork, his clearance was erased from the system again. The same night, his vehicle crashed. Police investigation determined his brake lines had been cut. Borland observed a massive triangular craft at close range over Langley Air Force Base. He describes a golden plasma-like substance flowing across its surface, comparing it to a semi-transparent lava lamp overlaid on the vehicle. The craft executed 90-degree turns and exhibited what appeared to be an electrostatic charge.
The best way I could describe it is overlay. If you're looking at a lava lamp and seeing that flow, place a yellow semi-transparent lava lamp flow on this craft, making 90-degree turns and all over the craft, and it's just this yellow, transparent, almost like smoke cloud, pulsating all around the craft.
Colleagues at BAE who had worked in what he terms legacy programs alleged long-running efforts to study and reverse engineer non-human technology. These individuals, whose careers have been systematically dismantled, believed Borland was already read into these programs based on his clearance issues, and they began sharing information with him. But one detail stands out. While discussing UAP topics with coworkers during a late-night shift, Borland received a pop-up message on his government computer warning not to discuss the subject. This suggests active monitoring of conversations within secure facilities. And then the Department of Veterans Affairs simultaneously conducted what Borland characterizes as a campaign to discredit his mental health. After witnessing a suicide, he and another veteran sought psychological evaluation together. The other veteran was treated respectfully. Borland, on the other hand, was accused of faking the police report. VA psychiatrists wrote in his official record that he was prone to delusions, where he was hooked to a polygraph machine while being shown alternating images, while counting backwards from 100 by 7. If he made an error, staff would scream and sound an air horn, forcing him to restart. And this bears resemblance to psychological conditioning experiments documented in Cold War-era research. A VA psychiatrist filed a complaint on Borland's behalf, stating a team was dedicated to targeting him. That psychiatrist resigned in protest. In March of 2023, believing people in legacy programs were in danger, Borland contacted Senate Intelligence Committee staff. He testified what he witnessed at Langley and what he learned about legacy programs, including specific program names and locations. Senate staff reactions suggested his information had credibility. When he mentioned a 2-word program name, one staffer's response was almost instinctive.
The one gentleman that we know was absolutely excited, and he was very much like, it's like, okay, let me hear more. There's another one that is public now, who I don't think he really wanted to believe it, and had made some comments here and there. And then towards the tail end, I had dropped 2 magic words. And when those 2 magic words dropped, I will never forget it. As soon as those 2 words dropped, that individual's mouth hit the floor. He threw his hands in his hair, looked at me, literally looked down at the paper he was writing notes on, and exasperated an agency name, and was just like staring off into space like, what the hell am I supposed to do now?
Was it a program name?
Yes.
2-word program name?
Yep.
Something you should not know.
He then testified to Arrow in late March of 2023, and while he found personnel professional, concerns arose when they classified his testimony and sent a memorandum that seemed designed to gather information about congressional staff. More significantly, Borland testified to the Intelligence Community Inspector General, and he describes this was the worst experience. The questions felt like a fishing expedition to determine how much he knew rather than an investigation. When asked what he wanted, Borland said he wanted to testify under oath to Congress. The response was that as far as they were concerned, he already had and would not do so again. He was told everything he discussed, including unclassified information, was now subject to executive review. The ICIG deemed him credible but not urgent, effectively silencing him through classification. If you enjoy UFO news, updates, case studies, and interviews, and you will like this channel, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this episode with those you want to keep in the know with the latest UFO news. Based on his information of legacy programs and historical patterns, Borland believes humanity is dealing with something ancient that has influenced civilizations for thousands of years. He suggests Arrow's statement about no scientific evidence of extraterrestrials may be technically accurate because the term ET may not properly describe what has been encountered.
I think what we are dealing with is very, very, very old. I think old humans have written those down in religious stories. I think that it's quite clear that we have been influenced by something else. I think Arrow has been telling the American public the truth, and you have said this on Weaponized on my behalf, which is Arrow's statement, there is no scientific evidence of extraterrestrials, is 100% technically true. You have to have a control to have scientific proof, and extraterrestrial is a very exact statement and word with an exact definition, an entity of another planet. These things, whatever they are probably what are referred to as gods or demons or angels or jinn, or insert whatever cultural or religious perspective you have. There are probably also extraterrestrials. It's not a one-size-fits-all.
Borland provided Arrow with 3 drawings. 1 was unclassified, but 2 were immediately placed in a special access program.
I provided 3 rudimentary drawings, one of which was unclassified and the other 2 were immediately thrown into a SAP. And the 2 that were thrown into a SAP prove we are not alone.
What makes Borland's testimony significant is not just his claims about technology, but the documented evidence of systematic retaliation. Police reports, VA records, voicemails, and official correspondence. His case demonstrates that whistleblower protections may serve more to identify potential disclosures than facilitate transparency. Borland married 1 month before becoming a whistleblower, and his entire marriage has been consumed by this process. Despite credentials and experience, he faces an uncertain future, being blacklisted from the intelligence community. What do you think about the pattern of retaliation Borland describes? Does it suggest a coordinated effort to silence whistleblowers, or could there be another explanation? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'm Cristina Gomez, and that is it for today. I will see you again for another UFO news update. Be safe, and remember, keep your eyes on the skies. If you enjoyed today's show, hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit the notification bell as I do daily UFO news and updates. Fresh UAP stories, government disclosures, and breaking developments land here every single day.